don't bake often, and mainly it's because whenever I bake, it's usually something sweet, and I feel like I have to eat all of it right away after I make it, and that's just not healthy. So if I don't bake anything, then I don't actually have to feel like I'm forced to eat everything. And I think that's a way I can stay healthy. Hey everyone, welcome back to Chef Tyler's Creation Kitchen. It's almost Christmas time, and so I have another cookie for you. Today's cookie is Vanilin Kiflice. These are small crescent-shaped cookies, lots of vanilla, that are typical around the Christmas time. They are typically associated with Vienna and the old Austrian Empire, as they are said to come from a celebration after the defeat of the Ottoman Turks. And the reason they're in the crescent shape is because the Ottomans had the crescent on their flag, and it's supposed to be like a hurrah, we won. They're very common around Christmas time, and this recipe actually comes from my aunt, who always bakes them around Christmas, and she'll come with a huge bunch of Tupperwares filled with the cookies. Too much, and we never know what to do with them because you can't eat all of them. We do, but then we don't feel good about ourselves afterward. But enough talk, let's get into making the cookies. It's very simple. The recipe my aunt sent me says it should only take about an hour, so let's get going. First, we need our butter. We have 140 grams, and I just cut this straight off the block. And you can use the measurements on the side of the butter to know how much you're cutting off. And we'll just go and add that directly into our bowl. Next, we need, of course, flour. We need 280 grams or 537 milliliters, which is just about 2¼ cups. And we'll add directly in with the butter. Now with our hand mixer, we'll go and mix on low, medium, low, until all the butter and flour is incorporated. Once the flour and butter start to combine in small flecks of butter covered in flour, we'll go ahead and add in our wet ingredients. We'll start off with the sugar, which we need 120 grams or about 2/3 of a cup. With our sugar, we'll go and add it directly in, as well as 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. Here we have 40 grams of ground walnuts. I just went to the store and bought walnuts, 40 grams of it, and ground it myself using a food processor. Thank you to Tatiana for the food processor. However, if you don't want to use walnuts, you can go ahead and use almonds instead. We're just gonna add this directly into our bowl. And lastly, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I like to live life on the edge. You may have noticed this huge pile of vanilla sugar over here. And as these are called Vanilin Kiflice, their main flavor comes from the vanilla. Now, the vanilla sugar does not go into the batter. Rather, we're going to dust it on top of the cookies when they're done. It's really important to be using vanilla sugar rather than sugar mixed with vanilla extract, as we have done for some other recipes. That's because this is going to be used as a garnish, and adding the vanilla extract into sugar can make it a little clumpy and wet in a way that pre-made vanilla sugar is not. And now with everything into our bowl, we'll go ahead once again and mix until everything is combined. And once it gets to this point where it's not really starting to mix together at all with the beaters, it's time to move into doing everything by hand. We'll of course take these off. We'll just take our spatula and get all the batter off the beaters. Now that we've gotten all the batter off the beaters and cleaned up a little bit, we'll just go ahead and take our spatula first and try to get anything else into the batter. And once you've gotten almost everything together, we'll go just take off the extra batter from our spatula, throw it back in, and we'll do the rest by hand. The reason I was using the spatula now is I wanted to put off having to go with my hands and then get them all dirty, but you have to do it anyway. So if you don't want to use a spatula at all, totally understandable. It's one less thing to clean. But we'll just try and mix everything together until it forms a nice smooth dough. Nice round and smooth mass, like such. And we'll just put it right back into the bowl. Now I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 180 centigrade or 355 Fahrenheit. While the oven is preheating, I'm going to line 2 baking trays with baking paper, and on that we are going to make the Kiflice. So I'll be back to show you how to form them once we're ready. Here I have my 2 baking trays lined with baking paper. And I also have a little piece here that I left to the side. And on this piece of baking paper, we're going to roll the Kiflice. This way, we can keep our workstation, one, clean, and two, we don't have to worry about the Kiflice sticking to the workstation. So to make the Kiflice, what you want to do is take some of your dough, about a walnut size, like a ball this big, and we'll place it down, and at the palm of our hands, we're going to roll away all the way to the end of the baking paper. And once you get to the end, bring it back and start anew. You don't want to put too much pressure down, but you do want to start having it roll into a log and try to keep it of equal thickness. Once it gets too big for the side of the baking paper, we'll remove it and form it into the crescent shape as such and place it down on our paper. We're going to do this for the rest of the cookies until we run out of dough. All of the Kiflice here, so we're going to go ahead and put them into the oven. They should cook for about 10 to 15 minutes or until they are firm to the touch. Once our vanilla Kiflice are done cooking, we'll take them out, and immediately while they're still hot, we'll dust the vanilla sugar on top of them. I'll just take one here, and it should press in a little bit, but not leave any mark. That's how you know they are done. Here we have, once again, all of our vanilla sugar packets. Obviously, I'm not going to be using all of these. I think I'll dust with just one, since I only have a few here. So what I'll need also is a little fine mesh strainer. I'm just going to take the sugar. Let's put this down. We'll open up, and we'll dump through here. It's okay if a little comes out, and we'll just tap over everything while it's still warm. This way, the sugar has the best chance of sticking. And now with our cookies nicely dusted with vanilla sugar, let's go ahead and give a taste for Greg. Crunchy, but still nice and soft on the inside. Just the dusting of vanilla sugar on the top is enough to add just a bit of added sweetness, but really pack the punch of the vanilla. I really do understand why these are considered a holiday favorite. It's perfect, not too sweet, but full of flavor. Wonderful for this time of year. Gotta have the rest of it, honestly. There we have it, our holiday cookies, Vanilin Kiflice. Dobre tek, I želim svima sretan I blagoslovljen Božji. We don't want to sift the flour since these cookies are intended on being a little denser, and sifting adds air. Right?
I think so.
Kaylin says it's fine.
Kaylin says so.
Okay.